recording. Alright, there we go. Alright, hold on, can you mute your music real quick?
Yeah.
Alright, so...
Can you hear it anymore?
Yeah. I can't hear it. Alright, so Path of Exile is basically like a Diablo-style game. So it's basically Diablo 2 mixed with Final Fantasy 7 and Final Fantasy 10. So what I mean by that is it has the materia system. So your gear has these sockets, right? And you slot them in with the magic or the attacks you're going to be using in the same kind of way, and then you augment them with gems, support gems, to change the way the skill works. Like, you know how in Final Fantasy 7 you have fire. Yeah, you have like fire materia, and then you have all materia. It's a similar concept. So like, right, these are mostly damage, but let's say, hold on, for the purposes of this, let's go to town real quick. So,
Alright, how much is the game?
it's free.
Not right now.
Oh, this is free to play too?
Yeah, yes, and a great part is there's nothing pay to win. Like, if you go in the shop,
to say, what do you spend money on?
if you spend money to make your character look how you want. Basically, that's it. That's all you spend it on. Like, you spend money on cosmetics.
Wow.
Yeah. Ethical microtransactions.
I was not looking to pick up another game. It is.
Alright, so for the purposes of the tutorial, I'm gonna pick a basic ass skill real quick. Let's say like fireball, and let's grab a couple this. I can't get it. Hold on. I don't have enough. Yeah, I don't have enough. Oh yeah, I gotta explain the courtesy system too. That's gonna blow your mind. So there's no gold in this game, but I'm not gonna explain it just yet. Let's just go over the basic skill system. But right now, I'm just gonna sell a couple things. That way I can get I'm gonna sell a couple things so I can get a gem that I want to demonstrate. So, oh wait, don't want to sell that.
Yeah. I thought you said there's no gold.
There's no gold. There is no gold.
Right.
You'll see what I mean. Let me see. Let's sell a couple things. Alright, so there is currency, but not in the traditional sense at all. You'll see what I mean by that. So I'm just gonna grab got that. This anything else here? Oh, yeah, why not? Good demonstration. Okay. Alright. Oh, I don't know. Whatever. Alright, so I'm gonna go to really basic area-ish. Actually, that's best. Yeah, sure, why not? So, I'm gonna show you, demonstrate the basic skill system. So like I said, materia system, Final Fantasy materia system. So, we have the most basic skill in the game, fireball. So, it is exactly what you think, just a fireball. You launch it, it explodes on the enemy. It's doing no damage because I'm not skilled for it, but yeah.
Yeah, and you just slide that into your armor piece there.
Yep. So the armor pieces, armor, they have sockets. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Let's just go back in. So they have sockets and they have links. So just like Final Fantasy 7, some of the sockets that they have, they'll be linked together or they won't be linked. But in this game, they're also colored, and they're colored based on the primary attribute that they use. So like most of the spells in the game are dex. Most of the spells in the game are intelligence. Also, most of the spells in the game are intelligence, and they're blue. And
naturally.
Yeah, and so fireball is blue. We're gonna slot it in here. It's a basic throw fireball. I'm in a low level place, so these guys aren't gonna really just do too much. So
They don't seem to be hurting you at all.
I'm gonna put in greater multiple projectile gem, and now suddenly firing 5 fireballs.
Oh, that was that green augment material or whatever that you
right here.
Used? Okay.
So suddenly 5 fireballs.
Interesting.
But it gets even crazier. Volley. This adds 2 more fireballs, but it also makes them line up like that.
Oh, that's cool shit.
Yeah, and also something about Fireball itself. Ooh, I should pick that up. Something about Fireball itself. Every time it impacts an enemy, it does a little AOE explosion. So these explosions then overlap as there are a lot of enemies near each other. So it makes it do way more damage against packs of enemies rather than just a single target.
So the AOE damage stacks.
It stacks, yes. All right. So this one is very interesting. Well, actually, before I get into that, let's throw Pierce in. So Pierce does exactly what it sounds like. It makes the projectiles pierce enemies. So let's take a bigger pack. I'm gonna get some enemies together here. A bigger pack of enemies. So it's gonna pierce all these enemies. See? Although Fireball itself only explodes on the last enemy. So this is where it gets interesting. Chain. And then replace Pierce with that. Let's find another pack of enemies. You can see for yourself what this one does. Alright, so I want a lot of enemies here. Alright, so here, hold on. I want to align in a. Alright, there we go. See how it's bouncing between the enemies? Yep, it makes the fireballs redirect when they hit and bounce between enemies. I'm not going that way. This thing, see, let me see. It's really noticeable. Okay, there we go. See that? Ping ponging between them, yeah.
Well, it still makes it so that this fireball still only does the AoE explosion on the last enemy hit.
Yeah, on the last enemy hit.
Okay.
Actually, Fireball isn't the best skill to demonstrate with Chain, mechanically, just because of the explosion, but you get the idea.
Yeah, I get the idea. I would think Lightning might be better if there was a Lightning spell.
Exactly. But anyway, that's the basic skill system. So there's tons of these. There's I'm sure. Oh, wrong act, but I'm sure by now there's
question.
Yeah.
Question. So I mean, and this is because I'm, just jumping in and you're just explaining how the materia quote unquote system works. But so when you put the spell into your armor, your equipment, what's the keybind to it?
You can bind it to any key you want.
Okay. And is there like a limit to the number of spells you could have? Like, say you have, you got armor and weapons with just a ton of slots and a ton of slots.
So you can have 2 sets of weapons, and each of those sets of weapons can have their own 8 skills that you combine at any time. But you can also change them anytime you want. So, I mean, most times you're not going to be using every single one of these skills. I mean, you're not going to be using more than 8 most times. And a lot of the times, the ones you do use, they're passive buffs, so you just activate them once and they stay activated when you take them off. All right. So yeah, the gems themselves, they level up like Final Fantasy 7, and they get stronger. Or their mechanics even change as they level up. So Fireball isn't a good example of this, but so do I have one of this? But anyway, some skills actually change fundamentally as they level up. So we'll say another skill Explosive Trap, let's say. So there we go, Explosive Trap. As it levels up, it gets extra explosions. So by the time it's max level, which is regularly 20, but it can actually go up in certain circumstances. It has 9 explosions instead of 4.
Cool.
So and skills get more interesting as they level up in other ways. Other skills, I mean. That's just one example off the top of my head that changes. So the support gems, they don't really change mechanically as they level up, but they still level up. And there's also another stat on top of that related to the gems. It's called quality. So quality gives them extra bonuses that the skills don't normally have as they level up. So let's say I think Fireball's quality chance is just increased fire damage. So it increases the fire damage of Fireball even further. But there's some interesting ones like let's say a lightning skill. If you increase the quality on it, it'll eventually get extra chance to shock enemies, like inflict status effects, etc. So yeah, that's the basic skill system. Most slots of gear can only have 3 or 4 slots, but your chest piece and two-handed weapons, they can have 6 slots. So you can have one skill with 5 support gems on it. And not only that, the items themselves, so they can get mods that have support gems in them. So something that's really popular is getting gear with 2 or 3 gems already in them, like support gems, and then on top of that, you have you can have up to like pseudo 9 link items, even. So 9 different augments on one skill, for instance.
Because the augment is like
it applies to the item.
Passive ability of your gear.
Yeah, it applies to the item and anything socketed into it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And so the item system is basically Diablo. Like, you have your normal items, the white items that have nothing on them, magic items that have a couple mods, rare items which are yellow, and they have up to 6 mods, and then unique items which have their own. They have as many mods as the developers want them to have. So basically, they're truly unique items. They have stuff on them that you can't get on other stuff, but they're not necessarily the best items. And I'll explain why later. They can't be crafted, but you can craft the hell out of every other kind of item, like a rare item. And you can get stuff.
You can't upgrade the unique items yourself.
Actually, you can. There are predefined upgrades, but you can't really customize them like you can rares.
Okay.
And some of the rares just have absurdly powerful stats that are possible to get on them anyway. Like I said, a lot of unique items you can't get stuff like built-in support gems, for instance. All right, so that's the item system, the basic item system. Actually, I want to go a little bit further into this before I go on to the passives. So, like I said, remember how I said there's no gold in this game?
Yeah.
So instead of gold, what you have is currency items. So basically, here's a basic currency item. This will change a white item, a normal item, into a blue magic item, and it'll give it extra stats. So I'm just gonna buy a quick item from the vendor. So let's take this ring right here, white ring, normal ring, with the orbit transmutation. Suddenly, it's a magic ring with fire resistance, and then you can craft this further. So this has fire resistance. I'll take the orbit augmentation. I throw that on there. It gets maximum mana. So these are randomly, like these stats appear randomly based on the kind of item it is, etc. Even the level, the item level of the item, which is a little. Basically, the area that you're in determines the farther you are into the game. Basically, the higher the item level and the better stats it can potentially have. And then we have some cool stuff like this, orb alteration. This changes every mod on a blue item, so this is gonna completely change, and this is something else. This gives me fire damage to attacks, so, and then you can augment it again. And there's another orb that you can actually upgrade it into a rare item, and it'll add an extra stat, etc. and so forth. So the currency in this game have sinks into them, so you use these items for trading, but also use them to craft items. And sometimes some of the base items themselves can be valued. People will want like hard to get basic normal items just so that they can craft on them.
Okay.
Yeah. And not only that,
so your currency isn't just like a raw number for gold.
Exactly.
It's actually based in items that you can use for other things as well.
Imagine if $1 was basically a chocolate bar. You can eat the chocolate bar if you want it, and not just have it. Yeah, just have it uselessly sitting. But yeah, on top of that, oh yeah, I forgot to mention. I'll go over this stuff later. But on top of that, there's crafting benches. So on top of that, let me see. I don't have a decent item here to demonstrate. I'll take my belt from. So I can further, as you go through the game and you do certain things in the game, you unlock crafting options, like custom crafting options. So you can always get at least one of these mods on an item instead of just using the currency to get random mods. So let's say you're lacking in fire resistance, you can just go here, type in fire resistance, and craft an extra fire resistance. Although this belt already has some. So like if you're a little low, you're taking a lot of fire damage, you can just go and put some manually on here. It costs relatively low too to get it now, especially since the rework. And they have some very interesting crafting options. So it's not just your life, your damage, your resistances and stuff, but you can get all kinds of stuff. You can get +2 level of gems. Let me see. +1. So like basically, if you craft this on like a glove, suddenly all gems in the glove get +1 level, and that makes every single gem that's in that glove stronger. And you also have other crafting options. You can change the sockets on your items with these crafting options. So like you can add
sockets.
You can add sockets, and you can add links to sockets, and you can change their colors.
Oh, that's cool shit.
Yeah. But there's tons of these. I can't go over all of them in this video. But let's see. The next thing, we had the two core components of a character. We had the gear, and we have the skill gems. Now we have the last thing. Well, not really last thing, but the skill system, passive skill tree.
The sphere grid.
The sphere grid. Final Fantasy X. Yep, that's a good 2,000 nodes of skills here you can get. So just like Final Fantasy X, you start out on different parts of the tree here. Every class starts out on a different part. So the witch starts out in the intelligence area, pure int. Marauder, he's a beefy guy. He starts out in the strength area. Ranger starts out in the dex, and then you have the hybrid classes that start out with combinations of these stats. And then the prestige class, the Scion, she starts out right in the middle, and she can easily get to the other areas. Although she doesn't have any of the specializations right in the beginning like the other classes do. Like the witch, she has right off the bat, she has spell damage and cast speed. So you want to play a caster, and you're new. You want to play a witch. You want to play a beefy melee guy, you go for Marauder, and you're a speedy ranger with a bow, you go for Ranger. Yeah. But if you want, you have the hybrids for other options, like lots of other options, like a trapper, a dual wield specialist, melee summoner. Oh, and the witch also has summoning specialties too. She's a spellcaster and summoner. But anyway, so the tree consists of all kinds of nodes. It's not just basic damage up, life up. Although it has those things, it has a lot of things that change fundamentally how your character works. So let's take this right here. This is this big node right here. Mind over matter. This turns your mana into more life. It makes your 30% of your damage taken from mana before life. So it turns your mana, your spellcasting pool, into a life pool as well. Yeah. This right here, Avatar of Fire. This converts all your non-fire damage into fire damage. But the downside is you don't deal anything that's not fire damage. So yeah. There's all kinds of perks with this. So you can just focus fire damage, but since you're basically chopping off everything else, sometimes if you don't use it well, you can get less damage. But if you specialize, then it's good.
Right. Makes sense.
Resolute technique. So this makes it so that enemies can't dodge your hits, but you never crit. So you trade explosiveness for consistency.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So we have blood magic here. So this removes all your mana. You don't have any more mana, but you use your life instead of mana for your skills. So you're casting with blood magic, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for a character with a huge life pool with a low mana pool, for instance. Iron Grip. This makes your strength bonus, which is typically only melee. It applies to projectiles too, like your bows. So yeah, if you have a lot of strength from your gear and your tree, you can, and your bow character, you can take this to have that applied to your bows instead. And similarly, Iron Reflexes. This takes all your chance to evade and turns it straight into armor. So instead of having a guy that just evades a lot of attacks, suddenly that character can directly tank the hits, you know? Point blank. This makes projectiles that are done close to the enemy do way more damage, 50% more damage. But the trade-off is, as it goes farther, the farther away they are, the less damage it does. So if you're a bow character, this is basically if you want to play a bow character at melee range, or a more advanced usage of this is playing a trapper, someone that uses traps that have like ranged attacks, that cast range attacks, because it calculates the damage based on the distance from the trap instead of your character. So it can make the traps just do way more damage because they have to get set off by
that makes sense, because if they run into the trap, then it's point blank range, even though it's a projectile.
Exactly.
Oh, that's cheap.
Pain Attunement. 30% more spell damage when on low life, sorry.
Low life,
so, yeah. So the basic, if you're low life, you get X Factor. That's the basic use. But what people do is, there's another life pool here. You see how it says life and shield? You play Halo, right? Everybody's played Halo, right? So basically, energy shield is a secondary life pool. You can't heal this directly with... there's another subsystem I forgot to explain. You can't heal this directly with your potions, right? But if you're out of combat, it automatically regens.
So what regens over time, right?
Yep. What people will do is they'll get this really high instead of their life, and then purposely they'll use something like blood magic, and put their life low via blood magic, and just have a huge energy shield. And
so you're still not taking damage, or you take damage to your shield, but you're doing 30% more damage, and you're just spending life to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It seems like there's a hell of a lot of customization options in this game.
A ton. Yeah. Every 3 months is a new major game expansion, basically, for free, that they just put out. It's kind of like Warframe, like how every 3 months they do it. They do a major free expansion in the same way. Yeah. So I come back every time, and there's always new stuff to play with. So, all right, but so the other thing, relatively minor, in this game. So in Diablo, you have your potions, you use them, and then they're gone. Or like Final Fantasy game, you use them and they're gone. Your potions are part of your character too. So remember how I said you can craft your items and stuff? Your potions are craftable items that you equip on your character, and they have charges. So basically, you use them, and it uses up some of the charges. But as you kill enemies or get them back in other ways, they come back, and you can use them again.
Refills as you kill monsters.
Refills as you kill monsters. Yeah. And you have your basic life and mana, and then you have your advanced stuff like a Civ Knight here. So when you use this one, it makes a smoke cloud around you, and it makes you it blinds all the enemies around them, and it makes you way less. It makes you way harder to hit. So, and then you have another advanced one, which is a Quicksilver. When you use it, you just go like you're suddenly speedy. Like this is my normal walk speed, and then Quicksilver, faster. Yeah. And you can craft these just like the other items. So I can get a Quicksilver with even more movement speed. I can get a Civ Knight that has even more evasion or other utility. So like I could put antifreeze on here. So basically, if I'm frozen, I can pop my Civ Knight and suddenly I'm out of that freeze, or etc. Or I can have anti-bleed on like one of my life flasks, and if I'm bleeding, I can just pop the light flask and the bleeding is gone. So those are the major aspects to a character, and there's one more aspect I'm gonna have to change characters to show you. So there's advanced classes in this game. So what I mean by that, I showed you how you have your, hold on a minute. I showed you how you have your 7 character classes that start out on different parts of the tree. That's the only basic difference between them, right?
Right.
But when you reach a certain point in the game, you unlock the ability to do class advancement. So each of the 6 basic classes, they have 3 subclasses that you can choose from when you get to that point in the game. So each of these subclasses, they have different specialties. So this one is a Juggernaut, and he specializes in just being tanky. So like he just takes hit. He doesn't have too much stuff to give him more damage. But nobody, like pretty much no class is as good as taking hits as this guy. So he gets a lot of armor bonuses. He gets a lot of just bonuses to taking physical and elemental damages and stuff like that. He gets free ability to not get flinched, basically. So he can't get stunned if you take this, and also he can't get slowed down. So he's literally unstoppable, and he's a Juggernaut. So yeah. So also one minor mechanic I forgot to mention. Well, 2 minor mechanics. So you see this dual socket? That's just an empty socket, right? So what you can do is you can customize your passive tree itself. The passive tree itself is customizable. So let's take a too long. So we have they have items called jewels, which you can take and you can put them into the passive tree. So this one right here, you can craft these like you can other items too. So this one right here, this gives this character's minions, the last one. Well, the last one's the most important, but this gives me extra energy shield. It makes my minions attack and cast faster, and it also gives them a chance to taunt on hit, which they normally can't do. So they actually take the aggro away from my tank, who's already tanky. So he has even less, he has way less chance to get hit, because this character specializes in making a whole bunch of minions that appear and stuff, and I'll show you guys that later. But you can socket this with any kind of jewel all kinds of jewels rather. So I can take this one out and put in this Rain of Splinters, which makes my totems fire extra projectiles, but it makes them do a little less damage. 45% reduced damage. But you can offset that. That's really easy to offset. Yeah.
So this is like the way to customize the nodes.
You can customize your passive tree. There's at least there's almost 30 of these dual sockets if you wanted to take them. Scion can easily get most of them, if not all of them. But anyway, not only that, there are jewels that actually change the passives that are around him. So there's a jewel that changes the physical damage of in all the neighboring areas into cold damage. So like all this physical damage right here, axe physical damage, sword physical damage, is suddenly cold damage instead. So you could play a cold focused character by putting that jewel in right here in a normally physical area and just speccing into cold. For instance, that's one instance. There's ones that will change life into mana, or life into energy shield, etc. And other things, it'll change strength into dexterity, dexterity into int, etc. And there's some really cool ones that so basically there's one called Intuitive Leap, which it has a circle radius, and it'll let you put any points into anything in that radius even without having to connect to that part of the tree, just by putting that jewel there. Like I can take this sanctuary node even though it's not on any part of my tree right here. So yeah, but yeah, those are the most basic aspects of character customization, and they all intertwine, and there's some really crazy combinations that you can make just because of the amount of options you get via the rare items, unique items, the skill gems themselves, the buffs, and the passive tree and jewels and everything, and even the character, the ascendancy, the advanced classes. So that is the most basic demonstration of character customization, but there's even more to it. You can customize the dungeons that you run at endgame. So when you beat the story, let's see right here. But when you beat the story, you unlock something called map items. So this is where you spend most of your time in this game, running these endgame maps. So this is the normal tier 1 map, and by tier 1, so this is the endgame Atlas. So basically, your goal is to go from these tier 1 to the center here and defeat the super bosses, like your typical RPG post game. So that's your most basic objective. Get to the center of the map, complete as much as you can, get to the end, fight these 4 super bosses, and unlock the secret final boss of the Atlas. But on top of that, as of some recent expansions, there's even more secrets to be shown here that I don't have the scope to show. And not only that, this is one endgame path. Atlas completion is just one path of the endgame. By now, there's at least 7 different things that you can do at endgame and have your character specialize in, or even do multiple, or if not all of them. But like I said, notice how this is white. That means we can craft it. So we can craft it just like we would any other item, basically. Do I have any alchemy? How unfortunate. I don't have an alchemy. But for display purposes, I'm just gonna... Oh, that's something else I don't really want to get into. You can customize, as of a recent update, you can make your own currency items. You can craft your own currency items, which you can then be used for crafting. It sounds sick, but yeah. So I'm just gonna roll this. Oh, this has to be rare. Oh, out. 1 second. Oh, I really only have that. Okay, let's just do that. Alright, so you can craft the in-game map items so that you can customize your difficulty and reward as much as you want. So this tier 1 map, a white tier 1 map, is really easy to do, but a yellow tier 1 map has a lot of extra things that can make it way harder. So monster skill chains 2 additional times. You remember what chain does? It makes it ricochet between as many targets as it can. So here it would ricochet 2 times. This area actually has 2 bosses. Every map area has a boss at the end of it, but this one you have to fight 2 bosses. So literally the boss is twice as hard. You have to fight 2 of them, or even more, because sometimes the boss mechanics synergize with each other. Monsters gain endurance charge when hit. That means every time they hit you, they get tankier. Monsters can't be taunted, so now that taunt specialization jewel that I had earlier is useless. I can't have my minions taunt and take away the aggro from my character. Monster XP cannot be modified to below base value. That means I can't slow down the monsters. Yep, I can't chill them and slow them, and I can't use or any of the slow spells or anything to slow them down. So they're always going to be as fast as they are. But notice if you look at the top of this, see where it says item quantity, item rarity, monster pack size? Those are your rewards for making the map harder. So the harder you can make your end game content, the more rewarding it is.
Yeah, you get better rare drops and more items.
Not only that, guess what? The Atlas itself is customizable.
What?
So what we have here, cartographer and sexton. But I can make this even more harder or rewarding if I want. And not only this map, but every map in this area. So I'm going to apply a sextant here.
The mediocre turned remarkable.
Players take 10% increased damage while stationary. Players deal 100% increased damage while stationary. So now this is going to last 3 turns, which is 3 map runs. So every map in this area is affected by this, including the atoll map right here that I just used it on.
Okay.
So for 3 turns, I'm going to be less tanky, but I'm going to be way stronger when I'm standing still. But not only that, it can make it harder in other ways. So let's throw a couple more on here just to demonstrate. And this is one customization that is possible
Mediocre
for this.
turned remarkable.
Oh, I only have one max, but the area contains slipstreams. That means it has little patches of ground that make you move faster when you're on them. But anyway, as you go through the Atlas, you unlock the ability to apply more of these at one time. I only have one on this character, but you can have up to 5 on your Atlas at one time, changing all the maps in the radius of it. And they stack with each other too. That's the crazy part. Not only that, there's strategies. Sometimes, because when you beat a map, you unlock that map for to be able to be dropped later, like in other maps. But sometimes you don't want to beat the map. Sometimes you want to leave it unlocked. I mean, yeah, leave it unlocked so that you don't get that map and you can farm other maps instead, and then trade those maps to other players. And that's something else. Diablo 3 doesn't have trading. All of these items and stuff I'm talking about, you can trade with people for other items that you need. But yeah, that is the most basic endgame, the Atlas. But there's at least 7 other things to do at endgame. And not every character is good at doing everything at endgame. So they really want you to play multiple characters and specialize those characters in doing different things. If that's what you're interested in, they really incentivize it too. This character, for instance, is good at doing another endgame route, which is called Delve. And I'm gonna do a quick delve run to show you what this guy does. So basically, what this character does, he's a melee summoner. So I just kill things, and as I kill them, I raise minions to fight for me. A ton of minions, really fast. So let's go into level 81. Let's go into a.
This
level...
is just that one map that you're.
No,
was like one in the node here.
This is a different area. I can show you a basic Atlas map. I just wanted to show you what this character was designed to do. This is a completely different. So this is Atlas, but this is, hold on. This is Delve. This is a whole nother end game.
Oh, this is a whole nother area.
A whole nother end game. So basically, this is an infinite dungeon. You can go infinitely in any direction, but the farther you go, the harder it gets. So right now, I'm only at Death 54 on this character. So the monsters are basic end game level 68. So we're gonna start. So basically, your goal is to go through and explore the darkness here. The minecart lights up the darkness as you go through. I hope the stream isn't lagging, but as I'm going through here,
shit.
yeah. So the minecart lights up this mine, and it keeps you alive because the darkness is actually fatal. If you go outside of the light that it generates for too long, it will kill you very, very fast.
You start taking damage from the darkness.
Yep. And not only that, on top of that, the monsters become invincible. So you have to generate light somehow. So there's 2 ways to do it. The minecart generates light, and the minecart itself generates light, but you can also throw down flares like this. Like right there, I just threw one here, and it'll generate some light, and you can explore the darkness. And darkness exploration is actually really good because there's some huge rewards for going into the dark and opening the treasure chests and stuff there, or blowing up walls and stuff and unlocking secret areas.
Wow.
I know you heard that sonic sound, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So you can customize the loot that drops on the ground with your own filters. So like this is all the stuff that's actually on the ground, but this is the stuff that I'm filtering out, the stuff that I want to pick up. But not only that, you can change the sounds that they make when the items drop so that you know what dropped. So right there, this unique glove dropped, and I have it play Sonic 1-Up whenever a unit drops. So that's what this guy does. He just kills things, and he makes a huge army of minions to fight for him when he does so. So that's what this character specializes in, doing those delve runs, which is a whole other end game from Atlas. Like I said, I'm gonna run this atoll map just so that I can show you the Atlas, and also on top of that, there's another slight craft that you can do on the Atlas when you run them. So this is the atoll map we just made. I'm gonna run it, and I'm gonna add Anarchy, which adds 3 additional rogue exiles, which are basically mini bosses. So those mini bosses are gonna show up in this map now. So you use the item, you go in, and it generates a area based on the map that you put in. So this.
The Sonic Lampoons.
This guy could be dangerous. Okay, I think I'm gonna do it.
So is that one of the extra bosses, the mini bosses that you spawn?
Nope. Something else I forgot to mention. There are. I don't know if you saw it before. I think there was an objective on this atoll map. So basically, there are NPCs that you can do missions for that appear on the atlas if you do that map on the atlas. So right here, this guy, where is he? Einhar. So basically, Einhar, when Einhar is in the map, that means he has a mission for you to kill some beasts, and he captures the beast for you. And there's this place called the Menagerie where he keeps the beasts that he captured. And then you can use those beasts. You can, well, you can't trade them right now, but you can trade those beasts to other players, and you can slay the beasts to get like crafting materials and stuff, or make craft special items called beast crafting, which is a whole nother kind of item crafting on top of everything else I showed you. So right here, there's another beast that he wants me to get. These guys are really tanky, by the way. Alright, so he's gonna capture that beast. New beast captured. And here's another unique item, as we just heard. Oops. Hold on. I think I went the wrong way, but it's okay. Let's go kill those guys. I don't know if you noticed, but a lot of my minions are dying right now. That means these mobs that I'm fighting are really, really strong. But like I said, the Juggernaut is really good at tanking. So while I'm staying alive, but my minions are having
you're
some
barely
trouble.
taking any damage.
Yeah.
But, like you're spawning like a shit ton of minions, and they all seem to be dying really quick. And I thought that might be because, you know, maybe the minions themselves are weak, but
the minions are actually
just because that.
The minions are actually insanely tanky. That means these enemies right here are like blowing them up.
Yeah, you're just saying that it's because the enemies are just really strong.
Yeah. A 6-socket item crouch here. These are pretty valuable, obviously. It's not 6 link, but we can link those manually using an orb of fusing.
Yeah, you can use your like crafting elements to just basically
to link them, and then we can color them to what we need.
Nice, that's pretty good.
Alright. Alright, so we did Einhar's mission. As you do his missions, more stuff unlocks. So Einhar himself, each of these NPCs that you encounter have their own end game paths. So Einhar, as you do more of his missions, harder and harder beast starts to spawn, and then you unlock his secret bosses and such. So. So here's the 2 bosses. Remember how I had this area has 2 unique bosses? Oh god, this guy is hitting hard. But there's 2 of these unique totem bosses right here. And okay, dead. And so basically, this map is done. I can go kill extra monsters if I want. But for the purposes of the video, I'm just gonna leave this map, grab a couple of things. See something. But yeah, let me get a log out real quick. But yeah, That's just some basic demonstrations of gameplay with that character, and that was just a huge demonstration of all the synergy that was going on. So I'm sure at the top of the screen you saw all the buffs and stuff. That was a combination of everything that I had on that character going off together and synergizing and interacting. And just one example.
Just how it all
comes
together.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Not only that, there's all kinds of ways to really for your character to even perform. So like this right here. Actually, I might as well demonstrate this character. This is a character I'm leveling right now. Since I play hardcore, so when my character dies, that's it. That character is deleted. But not really. It's just moved from the hardcore server into the standard server. So that character effectively is deleted from the hardcore server. So I play this way because it puts more value into the items that you get, and it makes you it does something psychologically. It makes you play better, I feel like, because you play not to die.
You have to play more carefully.
Yeah, you have to play way more carefully. Okay, so right here, this character is a spellcaster, Storm Brand. So basically, you cast these brands, and the brands attach to enemies, and it casts a spell. So this one casts lightning, arcs of lightning to all the enemies that they attach to, and then hold on, it casts arcs of lightning to all the characters, enemies that they attach to, and then when it kills that enemy, it drops back on the ground and it reattaches to another enemy if there's one in the immediate area.
You have like this blink spell that you're using to just move across the map like really fast.
That's right. Yep. I can move even faster than that. That's one of my goals for this character, is just zoom around. Ooh. This character is nowhere near as tanky as that last character I just showed you, so I have to be a little more careful. You see my HP actually dropping there. I'm gonna skip that mission. Alright, so right here, these are strong boxes. So these are a special kind of treasure chests that you can actually use currency items on and roll it just like we do the items that like equipment and stuff. So you can change the rewards and stuff and the risks. You can increase the risk and reward on these, or change them rather. So right here, this one, when I open it, it's gonna blast me with an ice spell, but it's also gonna have an extra rare item in it, and it has 3 packs of monsters in it. So I'm gonna lay some traps and put down a totem and cast some brand and open it and get out of the way. So right there, blast it with the ice, killed everything, let's grab the loot and go.
Wait, the Ice Nova hit all the packs of enemies that came out?
No, it hits me. It only hits players.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you want to move out of the way because that Ice Nova is really, really strong.
Right.
But sometimes there's some crazy mods that spawn on those strong boxes. Like one of the mods, you get frozen automatically when you open it. So just imagine that you get Ice Nova, but also you're frozen. So you can't dodge the Ice Nova, and you have to take a lot of damage a lot of the time. So right here. Okay. So right here, here's a boss. Let's prepare for the boss. Level up some of my gems real quick. Summon my minion. Lay down totem. Put some traps down. Put some brands down. Start moving. Alright, so this character has a lot of damage because okay. This character has a lot of damage, so I just brought him down to half-life. So when you bring him down to half-life, he spawns these totems that make him invincible. So you have to go and beat the totems real quick before
yeah, you have to kill his shield
okay,
generators first.
Yep. So they're all dead, and now I'm taunting him with the totem and my minion, and I'm moving around, and he's dead.
Damn.
All right. So now, since that was a special act boss, he's gonna take that mob soul and he's gonna give it to me as a buff. So now I can permanently get a buff from that boss that I can choose right here. So he gives me extra physical damage reduction when I'm standing still. So I'll take that and then I'll keep going. And then we're gonna go to the next area from here.
This is a pretty cool game.
Yeah.
I like it.
Okay, so there are all kinds of, besides just attacking with your own character, there's all kinds of modes for actually using the skills too. So like, Stormbrand isn't a good example, but let's just remember Fireball. So you can cast the Fireball spell yourself, for instance.
Yeah.
Or you can put on a support gem called Trap or something, for instance, and then you can suddenly throw traps, which then cast the Fireball for you when it hits the enemy. Or you can put down totems that cast Fireball for you, etc. I'm gonna log in. I'm gonna change characters real quick, but it lets me log in. I might be lagging. Let's see. Ooh. Okay, there we go. So I want to do one more demonstration of a character to show you the different methods of casting skills in this game. So let me see. Is this one geared? No, it's not. All right. So let's change. This one is geared. It is. No, it's not. Alright, so I had to have one of these characters is geared for demonstration, I think. I'm just trying to remember who. It shouldn't be that one. I think this is the closest. Okay, I'm just gonna have to put that chest piece on real quick. Just let me see something. Okay, so I think this one is ready to go. Almost. Or not. Huh. Let me see something. Huh. Okay. On there. Okay. Just need to change a piece of gear too and buy a skill gem here. Alright, now we're ready to go. Alright. I'm gonna give you a quick demonstration. Remember what I said about different modes of casting? So this character actually casts spells by attacking. So this unique weapon right here, it triggers the socket. It triggers the spells that are inside of the item whenever you attack. So right here, I have two of these on. So this spell right here, let's move this right here real quick just to demonstrate, and move this right here to demonstrate. So normally, we have this spell, Volatile Dead. It does nothing. You can't cast it by itself. But if there are dead enemies that are on the ground, like corpses or something, let's see, where is it? On Earth. Alright, so on Earth, we can generate some corpses with this spell. So it makes a couple corpses right here. We use Volatile Dead, and it turns those corpses into fireballs, which track enemies and go and explode on them. So, normally you have to combo these skills and use them like this together. And then as you go through, you have to manually cast each. But these unique weapons, we can automate that. So we're going to put Volatile Dead in there and Unearth in here. And now suddenly, we're casting like that. It's automatically casting both the spells for us. Faster than we won't normally cast it, right?
And all you're doing is attacking there.
All I'm doing is attacking with a basic skill. Yeah. Alright,
Holy shit.
Yep. I can't remember this. I'm gonna do an end game map here. I can't remember how strong this character is after the patches, but let's just give it a try. Alright, so make sure the buffs are up. I kind of feel like I'm missing a major one. Okay, this one. Clarity. Okay. We should be good to go. Okay, I feel like we are. Alright, do this. Where are the mobs? So, right here. Yeah, I can feel the nerfs it's been a while since I played this character, but let's see.
They nerfed that ability?
Yes, they did.
I could see how they would. You're kind of the amount of wave clear you're getting is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah. Not only that, my build of this, nobody really builds it like I do. You notice the enemies are being knocked back when they get hit by these fireballs, right? So they don't even get close to me. Most enemies in the game don't anyway. So it's really, really safe for hardcore. But I still managed to die with it, just because of my own recklessness, so. Let's see. Here's the boss. I'll fight the boss real quick. Alright, so this boss has some very interesting mechanics. So basically, I'm gonna pull this valve. The boss is gonna spawn. Also, this map is really dangerous. It has shock ground, so I take extra damage whenever I'm on the shock ground, so I gotta avoid that. But anyway, so this boss, she has 3 different forms. Hold on. So, the longer she's in one particular form, the more dangerous the arena gets. And every time you get hit by her explosions, you get you take more and more damage. So eventually it gets to a point where you're taking crazy damage and you don't want to be taking as much damage, right? Like right here, I got 1 stack right there. So when you start taking too much damage, you have to reset the arena by pulling this valve. Like, see, it's getting crazy right here. It's getting out of control with how many orbs are spawning. So you pull the valve, and she's gonna change forms now, and it's gonna reset the arena. But she gets a permanent buff every time you do this. So yeah. So now the arena is gonna fill with these little toxic clouds, and every time I get hit, I do less and less damage. So now it's eventually going to get to a point where I'm not going to do any damage to her.
And that's when you have to hit the valve.
Yep. And now she gets another permanent buff. And she changes forms. So now, every time I get hit, I think in this form, I get slower and slower. But she's also stronger because of the buffs I just gave her. So the longer you take in this fight, the harder it gets, and it actually gets impossible to do it if you don't do the fight properly and dodge the mechanics properly. So I'm gonna die.
Wow.
Yeah. So you basically have a limited amount of time to reset that fight without making it impossible to beat her due to the buffs she gets. So this game has all kinds of boss fights like that, where you have to manage the boss mechanics. But yeah, that's FFX in a nutshell. If you have do you have any questions?
No, you've been pretty thorough at explaining, actually, probably a whole lot more than your standard beginner would need to know. But yeah, like it looks like a really interesting game. It's Diablo 2 just with like so much more.
Yeah.
And like probably the 2 best customization
in video
kind
games.
Of two of the best kind of customization mechanics in Final Fantasy history.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is looking like a really interesting game. I like it.
Oh yeah.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, no problem. Something minor. Remember how I said you can socket spells and support? I mean, well, skills and support gems and items, right? There's certain items where you can actually put passivity jewels in them, and they're called abyss items. So this jewel I can take, I can put it in my passive tree, or I can put it in this stick here. So yeah, that's just one minor customization that I wanted to mention. So you get you just have so many layers, and you have so many moving parts and interactions that are possible, and that's why I love this game. I feel like a lot of people complain about skill balance in this game, but I feel like with the amount of options that you have, you can take anything and clear like pretty much any content you want if you learn how to really utilize the synergies. So yeah.
Yeah, if you optimize well enough.
If
right?
you optimize, yes. But yeah, there we go. FFX all in a nutshell. Hope you enjoyed that little overview.
Yep, that was pretty cool.
All right, I'm gonna end recording.